Welcome to the Rhythm Room, a monthly moment to realign with grace. I'm Coach Paula, and each month we explore how awareness, intention, and momentum create a rhythm for growth that lasts. So let's take a breath, settle in, and step into this month's rhythm together. Let's go. Grace to you. This is Coach Paula. Welcome to this segment of the Rhythm Room. This is August of 2025, and we are focusing on the teaching module Velocity Intention. That is what this month's blog was about, and all about letting love lead. And so, welcome to the Rhythm Room. This is a sacred space where we don't just talk about rhythm, we remember what matters. And so, that's so important for us. And so, this month, it actually marks my 34th, or what would have been my 34th wedding anniversary to my beloved captain, who passed away in 2021. And even though Martin is no longer here physically, his legacy is so much alive, and it still continues to shape me, how I move, how I love, and how I lead. So the month of August is rather tender for me. And so I do appreciate the love and support that I've received from someone. And so, as tender as it is, love has taught me that love is not a feeling. Yeah, some feelings come with it, but love is not a feeling. Love is actually a direction, it's a choice. It's an intentionality. Love doesn't demand speed. It really does not. If you knew my husband, he was not a speed person. But love truly invites intention. And that is what we have been focusing on at the Academy this month, anchoring our velocity, not as speed, but as intentionality in our pace. We've been reclaiming velocity as a strategic direction. It's not just about the pace, it's also about the direction in which you're going. Because you could be going really well at a great pace, but if you're going the wrong way, that's not helping you. And so it's all about reclaiming velocity as a strategic direction and having a rhythmic guide for what we value and for what we do. And above all, being led by love. So important. Because love, when it's lived intentionally, it doesn't rush you, right? Love is not forceful. It's not going to push you or rush you into something. In fact, love is patient. Love is kind. It's going to realign you. Love helps you to walk, helps you to move, helps you to walk and not run toward what truly matters. It's not about fast. It's about pace. It's about intentionality. And so what I did actually I offered it on the blog. So if you read the blog, you would have seen that. But I did offer this love guide, because how do you let love get lead if you don't have a guide in how to do it? And so I created this love guide that has 5 intentional shifts to help us to pause and to reflect. So important for us to pause and to reflect on our velocity and on our intention. And so this is not to make love louder, because love doesn't need to be loud, to be honest. Love just needs to last. So let's take the few moments and walk through these shifts slowly. We'll take our time. Walk through these shifts and see what love reveals. It's not going to rush us, but it's going to reveal some things to us. So there's 5 intentional shifts for deeper connection. And so this direction of love is what the love guide is, and I'm just going to step through it. It's a guide to anchoring love in your rhythm, your relationships, and in your routines. So love doesn't rush, like I said earlier. It truly reveals. Love is patient, love is kind. It doesn't envy, it's not puffed up. Like, love is going to show you something. That popular song, What's Love Got to Do with It? Love has everything to do with it. everything, because it's going to show you and it's going to lead you and guide you and help you to know some things. And so this guide is an opportunity for us to pause, to reflect, and to reconnect, because the direction that is fueled by love ultimately leads to a more meaningful life. Do you want a more meaningful life? I know I do. And so let's step through this one question at a time. We got 5 of them, okay? All right. Let's hit number 1. Slow down. So you can see clearly. Most people don't want to hear that. So I think some people think that slowing down or taking a pause sort of represents a sign of weakness, or a sign that, they don't know what they're doing. But no, it's really not. Sometimes you got to slow down, and just take a minute to regroup, recalibrate, because clarity is not found in chaos. Clarity is found in peace, in peaceful moments, right? When you're all helter skelter and chaotic and this, you're not going to find clarity there. But take a moment and woosah, breathe in, breathe out. Some clarity is going to come. Your body is going to reset itself when you take that moment to just breathe and breathe in and exhale, right? Give yourself permission to pause. So I'm going to ask you the question: where might love be inviting you to pause instead of push? Have you been pushing more than pausing? Selah, take a moment and think about that. Maybe it's time to take a pause, to take an inventory, and to take a moment and step back and look at everything. When you step back, then you can kind of see clearly. But if you're so in it, you can't see the forest for the trees, you have no sense of what you're doing. So maybe this is an opportunity for you to pause, to reflect, instead of pushing, instead of gunning, going hard and hustling. Listen, I'm not going to dull anybody's hustle, but I also need you to have a hush and a hustle. You need the balance of the two. So clarity isn't found in chaos. Give yourself permission to pause, because when you slow down, then you can see more clearly. Number 2, speak from the heart, not the habit. What do you mean by that, Coach Paula? Well, I'm glad you asked. Patterns can mute your authenticity because you get rote. Just kind of dun, 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 almost become robotic, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I am a strong proponent of habits and routine, because consistency compounds. Don't get me wrong. Don't be like, well, Coach Paula, you're always saying. Yes, I am saying I believe in habits. I believe in consistency, but I also believe in authenticity as well, and not being blinded by the rigidity of what you said you were going to do, that you lose sight of what you should be doing. You set out an intention, and yes, you do it, but sometimes there has to be fluidity, because you're going to have to move and bend a little bit. So patterns, when you're stuck in the patterns, they can mute your authenticity, but let love guide your language. So yeah, I'm going to do this and that, but I got to leave space for other things to come in, right? And so the prompt, I want you to think about leading from your heart, not from your habit. Don't just let the habits dictate everything to you, because sometimes your heart says, wait a minute, don't say that. Wait a minute, don't do that. But if your habit is, no, I got to do this at 7 o'clock and I got to do, maybe we do it at 7:10 today, because my heart says I need to do something else for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So don't let the habit overwhelm or shadow or silence your heart. So what's something you need to say, but you haven't said with love? Maybe there's something you need to say. Maybe there's something you need to say to someone. Maybe there's something you need to say to yourself. But your patterns, maybe you've been too rigid in what you're doing, that you haven't given yourself the grace and space to say and do what needs to be said and done. Speak from the heart, not from the habit. Number 3, choose presence over performance. Woo, woo, woo. The gift of presence is such an invaluable gift. It is so important to just simply be with someone, right? Not about performing, not about the doing. It's about the being. The being is the presence, the doing is the performance. I'd rather have the being than the performance. The people that we love, they don't need our perfection, they simply need presence. That's all they need. My husband was a big proponent of this. He just simply liked to be in your presence. You didn't have to be doing anything. You didn't have to be saying anything. Just simply sitting in your presence was just such a blessing and a joy for him, where I'm like fidgety and all over the place and trying to do this, that, and the third. And he's just like, babe, just sit down. Just sit down. Just rest. Sit down right next to me. And like me, Coach Paula, I'm a multitasker. I got to get this done, that done. And while I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And, stacking the habits and getting it all done. And, that's all good. But sometimes you have to just let all that go. My husband used to be like, come on, babe, come over here. Come sit next to me and we're going to watch the news. I'm like, okay, come sit down next to me. So I would go sit down next to him and we'd be watching the news. And I'm like, is this all we going to do, babe? He's like, oh, yeah. Hey. He's like, what, you want to be multitasking? All right. Here, give me your hand. So I'd give him my hand, hold his hand. And he'd be like, okay, we're watching the news and we're holding hands. Baby, we're multitasking. That wasn't it, sir. That is not the definition of multitasking, but he got me on that. But his whole thing was just simply being present, being in your presence, looking at you. We don't have to be doing anything. Sometimes we don't even have to be saying anything. Just being able to look at you and talk to you, and or just kind of look at you and observe you. It did a lot for him. And so I think that's one of the things I miss, because I didn't realize how significant it was until it was no longer here. There's a lesson right there. But yeah, presence over performance. We perform so much in so many lanes and spaces. We are so stuck on performance. Let's start embracing presence. I say this often as a grief coach. A lot of times when someone passes, people put their foot in their mouths. I'm sorry, did I say that? Yes, they do. People put their foot in their mouths because they don't know what to say. They have diarrhea in their mouth and they just go off and they just say so many things that really don't need to be said. And sometimes it's just a matter of mere presence. You don't have to say anything. Just sitting there and being and holding the space with someone means so much, other than you sort of saying things that they really don't want to hear at the time and that really don't benefit where they are. I remember when one of my nephews passed away, and I slumped into a depression because his passing was significant to me. And it was a double fold in some regard because his father had passed away previously and now he passed away. And so it was a double fold whammy for me that now I'm grieving both of them, because I never really grieved the first one because I had the son. And so I was gravely, terribly depressed, and I didn't know what to do with myself. And so my husband, he called for help, called the church. And fortunately, they sent someone who knew how to give the gift of presence. Yes, I've been raised in the church. Yes, I know what the Bible says. But in that moment, I didn't want to hear what the Bible said. I knew what it said. I knew in my heart and I knew in my mind, but my heart had a huge hole in it. And right in that moment, yeah, I was going to get back to the word, but in that moment, that wasn't where I was going. And so the person who came to my home, she simply just sat and gave me presents. She didn't beat me over the head with the word and tell me what the word said or any of that. She just sat with me and held space for me. And so that is significant. That's choosing presence over performance. She didn't perform as a minister or an elder. She held presence as a friend. And so my reflection prompt to you is, where are you showing up physically, but not emotionally? Yep, you're present. Your body is there, but emotionally, your mind is somewhere else. Your heart is somewhere else because your heart ain't really into it. Like, seriously, I want us to start bringing our whole selves to whatever it is that we are doing. Show up with all of who you are. Don't be present physically, but not present emotionally. So the next time you show up in a place and space, let your whole self come. Don't bring half of yourself or 25% of yourself, but bring your whole self. Don't just show up physically, but show up emotionally as well. Number 4, value connection over control. Mm, 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 mm. Value connection over control, because control is fear in disguise. When you're trying to control something, it's because you're afraid that something's going to be lost or something's going to be missed or it's not going to be your way or it's not going to be whatever. Control. We sing it, now I'm all grown up. No, we are not in control. Choose connection over control. We don't want to dictate and be territorial about things. Love leads with trust. Trust, right? We gotta have trust. Like my kids, raising my kids, sometimes, they have a different way of doing things. And it's not always the way that I would do it. But at the end of the day, they have a way of getting to the same place and space. And so when I try to control them and dictate to them to do it, this way, then I'm squashing their autonomy. I'm squashing their creativity. Now my 3 sons are all grown now. They're adults. My youngest is 19. But when they were kids, yes, I had to kind of teach them because that was my role and responsibility. But even as younger kids, I would give them opportunity. Well, how would you like to do this? What do you think we should do? Because that's how you train them. Because if all you ever give them is exactly how to do it, then they're rote. That gets back to what we were talking about earlier. They become rigid and stuck in the practice. But when you give them the opportunity to explore creativity and to think about different ways, surprisingly, you can learn something from them if you're open enough, okay? That you truly can. So value the connection over the control. It's not my way or the highway. Love leads with trust. So the question here is, what might shift if you trusted love to lead this week? If you put your hands down, took your hands out of it, decided and tried not to just be in control of everything, and you let love lead, what would that look like this week? Try it in one area. See how that's working for you. If it's working well, roll it out into something else. Little by little by little. 1% better every day. Atomic Habits comes up all the time for me. That's a little side note. But yes, little by little, let love lead this week. And number 5, grace. Anchor in grace, not guilt. Grace, not guilt. Grace reminds us that we're growing. Who we were yesterday is not who we're going to be tomorrow. Every day we're growing. Grace reminds us that we're growing and promotes that growth in us. But guilt, it just keeps us stuck. It makes you feel bad. It makes you feel yucky. It makes you feel incapable, wherein grace empowers you. It helps you to grow, helps you to feel that, okay, I can do this. After my husband passed, grace and space became the mantra in our family. Because at the end of the day, I've never been a widow and you've never been fatherless. So we're doing something that we've never done before. So we're going to do some things right. And guess what? We're going to mess some things all the way up, but we're going to give ourselves grace and space. We're not going to guilt ourselves like, why are you feeling that way? Or you haven't gotten over that yet. No, we're going to give ourselves grace and space that helps us to grow. And so the question is this week, what guilt can you release today in exchange for grace? Because remember, we got to keep ourselves in balance. So if I'm releasing something, I got to put on something else, right? If I'm letting go, then I've got to bring in as well. So we're going to release the guilt and bring in the grace. Oh, for grace. God gives more grace to the humble. And so get yourself out of the way. Identify the guilt that you need to release and exchange it for grace. Closing thoughts. You're not just choosing a direction, my dear friend. You're choosing how you love along the way. Because love leads. Love is patient. Love is kind. Right? Love is going to promote all of this stuff. It's going to speak from the heart. It's going to choose presence. It's going to value the connection. It's going to anchor in grace. It's going to do all those wonderful things to help you to grow and to learn. And so make sure that you apply this. If you want to explore more of this journey, the PH Academy is always available. You can explore the Academy at academy.paulahollis.com. You can explore my other products and services at the link that's referenced here as well. I really appreciate you joining this month's Rhythm Room. We meet the 16th of every month at 8:20 p.m. That is a nod to my dear mother. January the 16th is my birthday, and 2009 represents 2009 in military time. And my mom transitioned on that day, my birthday, January the 16th, 2009. And so, as a nod to her, we do this rhythm room where we come together and we talk about the blog that comes out on the first of the month. That's the one. And we vlog on the 16th at 8:09 p.m., keeping us internally knit, my mother and I and you. That threefold cord is not easily broken. So thank you for joining this month's Rhythm Room. Excuse me. Be on the lookout for next month's blog segment that will release on the first of the month, and then join us back again on the 16th of the month. In the meantime, stay in rhythm. I'll see you next month. Thanks for joining me in the Rhythm Room today. This has been your space to reflect, realign, and grow at a pace that honors who you're becoming. Until next time, stay grounded, stay present, and stay in rhythm.